Be ready for the call of God. Jesus said to his disciples, see that you are blessed for action and have your heart in it. They are there waiting for your master to come from wedding feast, ready to open the door as soon as he comes and knocks. Happy are those servants whom the master finds awake when he comes. We will put on an apron, sit them now at table and wait on them. It may be in the second watch becomes or in the crowd. But happy are those servants if he finds them ready. We may be quite sure of this, that if the house well are known at the what hour the border will come, we do not have let anyone break through the wall of his house. You must have ready, because the Son of Man is coming as an hour you do not expect.
chosen from this area points to the fact that God rewards the righteous with rest for eternity. We therefore have in our being the power of righteous living. The power of righteous living. I want you to repeat with me. The power of righteous living. We are all born into a family. We have our fathers and our mothers. Some of them are bad. Some of them are still alive. But those who live good lives, like they are in the end, they are always remembered. That's why people continue to leave names of their forefathers to their own children and grandchildren. progress. And most important thing is what I call the power of righteous living. So Peter and some of us persisted in that. Give us these fruits because it is the movement. They begin to learn that period like chicken. And they did something right. And not only something that people never forgot them. They continue to look at prayer, to worship God, to glorify God. And each bishop is proud to place his hands on the top of some people. He said, God, please make me like this man who died spreading the good news. Peter was a rich man, was a poor man. He let people go to school. But he died preaching the faith. All the people first to Rome, they had no access to the people in power. He started preaching to the Galileans, to the dirty people, and all that. And a large multitude of people followed him because of the topic of his preaching. Was taking on people to forget their life. Paul himself was a great lawyer. We know that. Because of the last two apostles, Paul was preaching. And he was before the Senate. And when they wanted to judge him wrongly, he said, I have been to Rome. And this is said, we have been to Rome and to Caesar in your school. So he came to Rome as a prisoner. But even in prison, they continued to preach Christ crucified. It was not nothing for the politicians. Then they nothing for those who are not money. Because we must preach against their standard of living. That was what he was believing. So Paul had his hair cut off. What people know when they kept his body. But the hair was his cover. And then in the tomb. And in that tomb, every bishop goes every 5 years. And many Christians from all over the world to gather there to pray, Lord, give me courage to live like a good Christian, to live like this man who died doing the right thing. This is the power of righteous living. The souls of the nations are in the hands of God. Wisdom to the Lord is supposed to be as we can help us live. Revelation chapter 14 verse 13 says, happy are those who abide in the Lord. Yes, happy the Spirit says, then they find rest from their labors, for their work accompanies them. In the second reading, St. Paul in Romans 14 verse 7 to 9 says, no one lives for himself, and no one dies for himself. If we live for the Lord. If we die, we die for the Lord. And so, alive or dead, we belong to the Lord. Dear brothers and sisters, from the stories we are told about our mother, she is Nnaji. She was a religious woman. She was a good woman. She was a nice woman. She suffered after some days of her news of her marriage because her husband died, which was just a tiny story. The civil war around her collapsed. When the grace of God was beyond her, her inner strength rose to the surface. She rose up to challenge the playing the roles of mother and father for her children. She trained her followers in agility and confidence. She soon received up and laid an unshakable foundation for greatness in this world. She was a great disciplinarian, as tough as she was generous, especially with her children, their brothers, their sisters. The result of this statement is visible in the life of these men and children. No one can tell me greatness without this statement. My great concern is that most of us fall a lot to be where we are. We went to long distances to attend school and we achieve greatness. And now, we want to allow our children to suffer at all. Not to allow them to study. We buy wine for them. We buy jam for them. We do everything for them. And eventually, they end up becoming stupid children. And they squander our wealth. Squander everything we have. they go back to the foundation of the forefathers of wretchedness of poverty. So discipline is very important. Discipline was the basic area. So she was also a generous woman. You look at the altar, and this is see a number of people who are here. I was asking myself, why are these things here? Did the Nnaji go to the seminary? Or maybe they were children? They go to the seminary. But I realized that this woman, when she was alive, she was giving money to priests to pray for her family, to pray for her, and pray for the family. Please celebrate plans for me and my children. And the children continue this. And the Lord was telling these things to priests all over every state, to pray to so that Christ. Please pray for my mom, she's sick. Please pray for the family. They believe in the power of God, the power of prayer. Because this woman lost her soul. She's told them that way. But the greatest thing about her generosity was not because she cared for her children. One man in my village was so rich, he had 8 children. You know, and then another prayer she was one. When she was getting married, one man came. President Akpugo was what did he do? This is a woman, this is a woman, whatever that woman did. The rule of nature. Not in nature exists for the sake of God, but contributes to the rule of the larger universe. Rivers do not drink their water, but flows to quench the thirst of men, of trees, of animals. Trees do not consume their own fruits, neither do they consume the oxygen they expel. They consume the carbon dioxide from us, then they give out the oxygen, and people will live. If there is no oxygen in this church, all of us will die before the end of this night. But because of the generosity of trees around us, that's why sometimes I begin to wonder, how do people live in places like Lagos, where you can drive for 1 kilometer and not see any tree? That's why the air is so nice, it's so dry. But people who are around them, they don't plant trees everywhere they are. But when you do this, you are inviting the generosity of trees to give you life. The sun shines out to other people to provide light and warmth. It doesn't consume its own light. Likewise, flowers spread their fragrance to freshen our environment. All these elements act in response to the nature which God has bestowed on them. In the church, those who are recognized as saints are those who live not for themselves, but for others. For the story of our mother, we believe briefly that she lived for us. But she believed that food is a necessity in life. You don't be to those who are hungry. That's why all people that come to her. She gave us some of our fathers. There was one of our mothers who can even starve their children to make sure they give to others. There are some of our fathers. During Christmas, they carry the rice to her and give it to other people. And sometimes we don't even have enough. This is generosity in action. When you remember the poor, those who have no food to eat, prepare. You got to pay out support, not only for your children, but for others who are there. But today, one will see. We see a life of tradition of Christian tenets of compassion. But all people in their homes, they are care. But what is happening? These big men, they send their children outside the country, and then they must walk. And people are in their clothes. Sometimes even before another election, so people send their children outside the country, and they pay us to go to kill people. In order to be local government chairman, they are killing 20 people. In order to be president or anything, you kill about 1,000 people. What do you think about this? These people are like you, like their children. Don't be selfish. You must want to be a priest, or a bishop, or a governor, or anybody. Be selfless instead of allowing one person to die. You can say like somebody in the past, my position is not what the blood of one Nigeria. This is what it is to the righteous. They are brothers and sisters. We live in a world of selfishness. So selfish traders, out of greed for money, sell expired drugs, expired goods, now die. That's why in the year 2000, they are writing it in the year 2050. You know, 2000, but there is a total expired. But expired long ago. This is selfishness in this Senate. People some pretty traders, they are low back. Somebody use chemicals to make fruits to ripe in order to get big money. By doing this, they sell their own citizens to the enemy place. This selfishness among human beings constitutes something excluded. In our last community, the Bishops' Conference of Nigeria noted that the recent amendment of the 2026 Electoral Act passed into law by our president is an act of selfishness for those who practice. But that act will provide